Welcome to Regan's Corner Sports Network. We got a special guest for today's Regan's Corner podcast. Hebron star basketball player Sid Elijah. Sid, how are you doing? And how is it going in Hebron, Indiana?
I'm good, and things are going over in town of Hebron.
Absolutely. So, how did you start in the game of basketball?
So in Hebron, every winter we have a kiddies league that kids, boys and girls, play together, and they play for about 5 weeks every weekend. So you can start at the age of kindergarten, and then you go all the way up to fifth grade. So it stops before you enter middle school basketball. So I played kindergarten through fifth, and then at Hebron, we have fifth grade basketball. So I played fifth grade and sixth grade, and my mom was my coach. So I got to have the good old parent coaching. And then through that, I went sixth through eighth playing basketball too.
Okay. So, at a young age, at the kind of fundamental stages and stuff like that, did it help having your mom there, kind of a familiar kind of voice coaching you?
It had its, I guess, positive aspects to me. I guess I understood things better from her because it was kind of like she was helping me with everything. And so having her kind of just talk to me, and then also after games, having her be like, you should have done this, and try to get those fundamentals at a young age. So when I'm at where I am now, I already know those things.
Absolutely. So, going into the junior high seasons and stuff like that, having a different coach and everything along those lines. So, how was kind of the transition into not having your mom there and having a different coach and kind of still trying to develop when some kids kind of lose their interest when they get into seventh, eighth, ninth grades?
Um, a lot of girls lost interest. We had around 16 girls, like fifth and sixth grade, because it's basketball and girls want to play sports. In seventh and eighth grade, it dropped down to probably six. So we played with a small team, and two other girls are still playing today. So I was always used to the small team aspect. But I was also thankful to have other coaches because now I have different coaching ability, and they all got on me for different specific reasons that I use today. Like one would say I wasn't being big enough in the post, but the other coach the next year would say, you need to work on your ball handling. So I had that post and guard work coming together for high school.
And having a historic conference like the PCC and having the competition that you do in that conference, it is very important to have both sides of skills with the ball handling, with the post skills, because you never know when you're going to be dumped into post when you have to go against Lauren Bomar or uh, Lauren from Couch or other great centers that you have played against, Victoria Diaz from Morgan Township and stuff along those lines. So to have that kind of built into you and kind of have the experience against these great players already because you're playing throughout against that competition.
Yeah.
So going into your freshman year. So what was kind of the vibe like kind of stepping first kind of high school experience in basketball?
So we had just gotten a new coach my freshman year. So it was different. I've never dealt with, I guess, the first, like it was her first head coach position too. So we were kind of just figuring everything out. I did not play varsity my freshman year, which is kind of different from when you hear these girls talk about, being the star of their team, and they got a lot of varsity minutes their freshman year. I did not. I maybe played 3 games of varsity for about like a minute, but I was all JV. But I will never, ever say anything bad about JV because I absolutely loved it. I got so much playing time, and it was nice to be able after JV games to watch the varsity game and be like, so that's what I want to be like. Because we had a very large set of seniors my freshman year. We had about 7, and they were all very good players and they all ranged in different abilities. So I enjoyed watching that my freshman year to be like, I want to be like her. We need that next year, everything like that.
Yeah, don't knock like yourself with playing a little bit of varsity and not and dressing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because that's huge accomplishment at a 2A, 3A school at that time Hebron was, to play and dress varsity as a freshman.
Mhm.
Um, so to kind of give yourself the notice like, hey, this is what could be next year. It could be the
Mhm.
following year. It could be senior year. And all that stuff. So how is kind of your sophomore year kind of stepping into more of the roles and more of the kind of shoes and playing a little bit more, but not playing uh, as much as you are now, obviously, but kind of along that kind of path.
Um, so because COVID was a big thing my sophomore year, it was a different, I guess, cycle to go through because we were losing girls left to right. I didn't know if I was going to be gone the next day. And I didn't really play my sophomore year until probably after Christmas break. I was kind of in this rut of like, why am I not playing? Like, what's different? I thought I played really well my freshman year. So I was really confused because I put the time in over the summer. And then after Christmas break, something clicked at a PCC game against Washington Township. I remember that I had, I think, 18 rebounds, but only 2 points. But it was that factor of she's doing something that this team really needs. And I became super confident with it. So that's when I guess I started becoming noticed with, hey, she can rebound, but you don't need to watch her in the paint type of deal. Like she has this one ability. So we worked with that. Like I could rebound, but now we had to get the shooting aspect of it.
Mhm.
But
So kind of not playing a little bit and stuff like that, and then the Washington Township game happens. So that chip starts kind of growing.
mhm,
'Cause I've been in your shoes too, where I'm like, why aren't you putting me in? Like, you know, I can rebound. You know, I can do this. I know you can do that. But since the mentality changed, you could see the kind of the growth during that season after the Washington Township game, right?
yeah.
Okay. So kind of going into that sophomore year and the PCC tournament and stuff like along those lines, not knowing if you're going to have it or this along those lines, because some of your freshman year was in doubt at the end of that period with COVID, but going into your sophomore year a little bit. So what was that kind of that feel like and all that stuff?
Um, I remember my sophomore year PCC, we only had 6 girls and that we played lacrosse first round. I thought we were going to drop it. Like we wouldn't even get to participate in the conference, which I think is the worst feeling ever, not getting to just be there in the atmosphere because we just lost so many girls to COVID. Um, and we played and it ended up being like a fun game because we kind of put ourselves out there and we're like, listen, we're going to play the best we can, but we don't have our point guard, our post, and one of our other guards, so people are going to have to step up. But it was fearful knowing that I could go home one day and then get a call from the school and be like, you're not able to come back for 2 weeks. And that right there, like, all those goals I had for the next couple games, like it's gone because I don't know if I'm going to come back and I don't know if I'll be back for the end of the season. So then it's just the idea that like my sophomore year could be done. And I just started like getting my confidence, knowing what I want to do. And then it was sad to see those seniors that played all 4 years. They didn't get to finish the rest of the season because we had our point guard, I remember, was out with COVID. And then they did not let her come back. So she did not have the last month of her senior year.
And you'll hear some of those stories because the spring sport, your freshman year, you could hear all the seniors with
Mhm.
that, where it just got canceled completely. So kind of going into that, the mental aspect. Uh, so going into your junior and senior year, that had to be a kind of, how I want to put this, almost like a Mamba mentality you had to have because of
Mhm.
the last 2 years of not knowing if you're going to play, and then kind of trying to show out last year and this year, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So going into the off season with your sophomore year into your junior year, what are some of the thoughts that you were gonna go into that year with?
Um, I wanted to at the end of my sophomore year, I realized that like I could be a really good basketball player, and I decided one day that I ran cross country all for through middle school, and my sister went to run D2 for her school. So I always had the idea that I wanted to compete in college, but I thought I would just run. And then I started really enjoying basketball. Like I'd go home and I'd sit and I watch NCAA girls basketball, and I never would do that before. And I just started really liking the idea of me playing college basketball. So that was always in the tip top of my head that I wanted to work towards that goal. And so after my sophomore year, I joined an AAU team, which I had joined the year prior, but I could not play because COVID. So I spent basically 3 months at that AAU team. My ball handling was not the best. So we worked with my ball handling, and I like to call myself a small post because I'm almost 6 foot, but I don't have that big, I guess, body that, to like kick girls out of the block and everything like that.
Mhm.
So I was kind of learning to deal with that awkward in between. Like I was a 3 and a 4, and I wanted to be a versatile player, but I was still trying to like figure out what do I need to do. So those 3 months were basically like getting basic ball handling and basic post moves down and just working with those to up my game.
So to make yourself into a stretch 4, into a stretch 3, or
Mhm.
a 3, instead of just trying to be a little post scorer when you're kinda in that middle, in that
Yeah.
sweet spot where you have enough ball handling to be a 3 and a 4 in a conference like the Porter County, but if you want to put your game out to a school like, St. Joe,
Mhm.
uh, it's gonna be hard to do so, kinda thing,
Yeah.
right? So, kind of going into St. Joe and all that. So, how did all that kind of come to fruition, and you being a Crimson Wave?
Um, I had some friends, their sisters went to Calumet College, and I never really dawned on me like that I could go there. I kind of didn't realize it was a school until my junior year when he reached out to me, and he was wanting to revamp the team because he just become head coach, and he was wanting someone with the grades and someone who has the family aspect to come join the team. So I went to the campus and I love the school. It's very homey inside, even though it's kind of like one big building. It's huge. I mean, it's 3 or 4 floors. And then they were adding on to the school, so they added dorms and apartments. And then the idea that I can walk into the gym and people would know who I was and like what my goals were really kind of told me that like this is the place to be. Like you're gonna thrive here. Because I didn't want to just get to the point that I'm playing college and I made it. I wanted to make a name for myself at a college that will help me. And
You
that's
wa you wanted to pick college that was, like, where you were gonna get playing time and kind of where you would play a little bit more instead of
mhm,
possibly walk on Purdue Northwest or
mhm,
something like that kinda aspect. I
yeah.
f
Uh,
feel
I like the idea that I can go to a small school that needs a player like me and I'm going to play a lot instead of going to a big school that I'll just sit and I'll learn everything, but I won't guarantee, like, no one's going to guarantee me that I get the time.
Absolutely. So kind of stepping on their campus and all that stuff and all that jazz, what is one great thing and one like food place that you were like, we have that here kind of thing, like shocked and stuff like that that Calumet has during like in their student section or whatever they have in their quad or around the area?
So they have a lot of snack bars, and um their cafeteria is more of like a deli type that you can come up and get food. I'm a sandwich person. I like Jimmy John's, everything like that. So the fact that I can go up there and just take what I want makes me excited. And then the fact that even in their dorms or apartments, I can cook and kind of eat like what I want. And I guess, have like the food to look forward to.
Absolutely. I like that a lot. But getting into your senior year so far, because there's still quite a bit of basketball left. You got a nice little second half going here. Your Hawks are playing better than what you guys start off in this year. Um, kind of going into it. So, what can you guys do to get better from the games that you presently have in the first half to pull an upset against South Central and possibly get that cup before the PCC, or kind of when you're rolling in the PCC, upset a Couts, a Morgan Township. So, what are some of the goals to get that done?
Um, right now we were hit with the flu, so hopefully get everyone back and healthy is the first goal. But I think once we relax, we get really worked up when we play. Even I do, because the whole community we've never had before come out, and this year everyone comes out to watch our games. And I've never had that before, so everyone gets nervous, and it's loud and you can't hear, but it's also one of the positives. I think our ball handling needs to be stronger, but we work on that every single day. And I think we just need um, just hardworking 24/7. Like we got to keep going. And then also, I guess, having some pride, knowing that like we can do it. We're the underdogs. We have a whole community and a coaching staff behind us. So there's no point that we can't do it. We just have to remember the little things and put that out on the floor and use it.
For sure. So, kind of going off of that and everything like that, most of the teams in the PCC have places where you can scout their sets, everything. So, kind of along those lines, would that be a tool that you guys would use to help you with playing against the Couts, with a Morgan Township, with a South Central, when you have all that access to them, when you have the Couts Phillies fan page, you have us here at Regan's Corner, where you can go click, oh, hey, here's it might be a little fuzzy at times, but hey, here's Couts, here's South Central, here's Morgan Township to your disposal. Does that help you as kind of student of the game to kind of look at that tape?
Oh, yeah, we use Huddle too, but when I can't get a Huddle video, I will sit during a study hall and class and watch film on everyone. I like to see what way they like to turn, which hand they favor more, and then we have a group chat for basketball, so then I text everyone the link and we watch it. Because it can't just be one person, scouting it. Like it doesn't help. We have 5 people on the floor, so I try to get everyone involved to watch those. And then sometimes you can't find film, so you have to go in with the mindset that you be ready for anything. And after the first couple moves they do, you kind of just have to pick up on that and just be ready.
For sure. Absolutely. So, kind of going into that, what are some of the players that you are kind of focused on in going into the PCC kind of season?
I know a lot of the girls that I grew up with in the PCC. It's like Emma, Ali Capuch, Lauren Kodiker. Um, I know all of them. I know some girls that I played AAU with from Morgan is Shiloh. Uh, they have some guards over there too.
Mhm.
I think Boone Grove has some girls that have a lot of talent that we have to look out for because we could always draw them again in the PCC. Lacrosse has their guards. I think Washington has a huge set of guards that they have an amazing talent. I think everyone in the PCC is set. I mean, everyone on their team has at least 2 or 3 girls that to be worried about.
Absolutely. And then you guys got a great measuring stick at South Central on the 5th of January. And kind of looking at what they have with Livia Marks,
Mhm.
with the Welsh sisters, with the other 2 Mark sisters, and then Lillian Tolman. Uh, so kind of getting past that kind of family unit that satellites have. So what are some keys for you guys as Hebron to pull that upset and stuff like that going through?
I think we need to use our posts a lot. I think we, against Couts, used our posts and we got some fouls on them. And we just have to really work, especially at the free throw line. Those are free points. We got to hit them because that can always make or break a game. Our guard play and our help side needs to be there, especially on defense because the Mark sisters can dribble through anything. Tolman has her head up the whole time looking. She can find those little inches that you didn't think a ball could get there, but it can. I think they are just strong girls, so it's gonna be the battle of who is gonna make like who's gonna break or not.
Absolutely. So I used to have a coach, they would call it blue collar and stuff like that. Watching you guys throughout with regional sports and stuff like that, watching a few of your guys' games, you guys kind of have that feel to it. Um, and watching South Central, they definitely have that feel. Like you said, just a little bit there that if there's a back door,
Mhm.
Tolman will find them. Kate Welsh is the same way. So kind of being alert for those passes and stuff like that, I think would be a huge key for you guys. Um, but uh, what is your superstitions before a basketball game?
So mine are the I always have my hair in 2 buns, low buns. That didn't start until my senior year of cross country, where I started running really well with them. And so it kind of went from one sport to the other sport. I always have them, and the one game I didn't have them, it was a really bad game for me. So now I believe that I have to have 2 buns in my hair. I also believe that if I don't eat the greatest, I will play better. So eating a couple cookies and maybe having a pop during lunch that day, I will play a really good game. And then
Nice.
I listen to the same playlist, the same songs over and over again. And I always get ready listening to those songs and I do my hair and I just kind of get ready by myself to get in that mindset.
Okay. So what is on your playlist?
Well, right now it's Christmas music, which people don't believe it's the best hype music, but I can get down to some like Trans Siberian Orchestra music before I play.
I mean, it's almost as good as dubstep sometimes, like
Yeah.
for sure. But getting into the last segment here on this interview, the hot corner, where we get to know you a little bit more, Sid. So what is your favorite sports movie of all time?
Um, I like Remember the Titans. I feel like it has a really good song playlist too. Like the whole playlist through that movie is like really good. I listen to those songs. And then if it's not a movie, but The Last Dance is I sit there, I watched it like 3 times, like just getting into it because I think that was like the best documentary like show I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Oh, Michael Jordan, a little bit
Yeah.
this and that. I love those kind of documentaries. There's great ones on the Lakers
Hmm.
and stuff along those lines. But going into all that, uh, who do you think is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. Okay,
I
I could see it. Okay. You model your game after Rodman with the rebounds and all that stuff. And Rodman at one point was fast as lightning with Detroit, um, kind of similar to Pippen in a sense in his early stages and everything along those lines. So that's probably one of the greatest rebounders of all time. And that's your game is rebounding. Makes sense. Um, so let's see here. Okay. So with you going college next year and everything like that, even though the level doesn't get that many NIL opportunities, what would your dream NIL deal be?
um I don't really, I guess my overall like dream after that, I just want to, I guess, make it like so people know the name like Sydney Elijah at the end of the day. Like just be known like in the area, something like that. Like have a shirt with my name on it type of deal that people like, that girl that people can look up to is like my overall like basketball dream.
Okay. Okay. So we're after this interview, we're gonna put you into our future NIL like athletes deals and stuff like that to kind of get you knowledge on different companies that work with all levels of college athletes because I know there's a lot in Division 1 and Division 2, but there's not many after opportunities after that. But there's some companies that do that. Like Enterprise, which we had them on the broadcast for Couts a couple times. We can't have them anymore because that's the other podcast. But anyway, um, let's see here. What next? What is your go-to snack before a game? Because you said,
Um, I well, when I come home from school before games, there's always like I eat dinner, and then there's always cookies or something like Oreos. I will eat like 3 Oreos an hour and a half before my game. Like I'm very strict on time because I never like feeling that I'm gonna get sick, but I want to make sure that I eat it because I think it will bring a good game. So I always eat either Oreos or like some cookies before I play, and no one knows about it. So
"Hey, it's all good. It's all good." So, what is your favorite fast food place of all time?
um I like Chick-fil-A, but I don't get chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. I get their wraps. They have like chicken wraps that are really good.
Mhm.
So it's like on the healthier side, but I it has like this like avocado ranch on it, but they stopped selling it around us. So whenever I go to Lafayette, I would always go for AAU games. I would get Chick-fil-A right after.
Hey, can't beat Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Okay. No. But going into this year and everything like that, what are some of your favorite memories playing basketball?
Um, well, after the PCC game my sophomore year, we did go to Chick-fil-A, um, the 6 of us, and we all got in one car, and one of the seniors drove us around, and it was Maryville because Valpo wasn't done yet. And then we ended up dropping Chick-fil-A off at our coach's house, but it was the fact just like driving in that car, we all just felt comfortable with each other. And I remember just sitting not in a seat, but listening to music. And just the ride was just a great memory to have. Like the wind, and it was cold out. So we wore PJ pants and like our Lettermans. So that's one of my favorite memories from high school. And then my other favorite memory was the first time that I dyed my hair my junior year because I had pink and purple hair. That was one of my things because I was trying to base it off of what Dennis Rodman would do.
It,
So, yep.
well, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. Looking and kind of scouting before this interview and stuff, because here at Regan's Corner, we like to kind of know a little bit about you before we have, because we'll look, be like, hey, this is a person we may interview or this and that. Um, so looking at your stats, looking at kind of the personality through the pictures and stuff like that, we're like, yeah, we probably should interview Sid since we're interviewing Victoria Diaz, uh, Lillian Tolman, and a bunch of other athletes throughout the PCC, and plus Mason Jones from the Dueling Conference for Valpo. Uh, so, yeah, so stay froggy, my friend, and thank you for coming on to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.